Welcome back to the madhouse. I mean, Donuts in Space. And part 3 of the HMS Daring build. We've started on getting some of the photo etch worked in now. Mainly because it's going to be easier to get the photo etch put onto these parts whilst it's not on the ship than it would be if it was on the ship. If it was on the ship, to be fair, I don't think it's stand a chance of getting the photo etch work done. And if you did, I don't think it'd come out that well, to be fair. But yeah, not looking too bad actually, if I'm to be honest. We've got a few ladders on. Now the thing is with the ladders that are on the photo etch parts, the big ladder, where is it? Oh, it's not on there actually. I've taken it all off. Oh no, I haven't. There's still some left. Where's it gone? So you can't really see it. It's that tiny. Blimey. Yeah, you might be able to see it in there somewhere. Let's have a look. Yeah, you can see it there. Cool. Yeah, I've had to cut that off, and then normally with those type of ladders there should be little tabs running down the length of it, so when you stick it to the side of a ship it actually brings the ladder off the side of the ship, and it doesn't look as though it's stuck on detail like the ladders are inevitably on the kit when it's moulded. So what I've been having to do is cut off an extra 2 rungs of the ladders, really, one on each end, and then cutting that extra rung out of the ladder, and then the little bit of photo etch that you've got at the top end, you fold that into a 45-degree angle at both ends, and then you can stick the ladder on. So that's kind of, that was slow going. I think it took me near on 2 days just to get a few ladders sorted out. I mean, we got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, yeah, 15 bits of ladder, 16 and 17 if you include the ones that are going into the helicopter hangar. So yeah, it took a long time for me, because I just cannot sit there and do those like I used to, otherwise I'd most probably blitz those out in a day. And then getting them all on as well, making sure that they're in roughly the place that they need to be. So yeah, it does take a bit of time to do that. Nevertheless, it's been done, and that's good. So I'm not too worried about that. So if we just, actually it's 18 bits, because there's one on the missile silo. So hopefully you can see there where the bits of ladder are on that side, and then it's going to be the same on that side as well. Unfortunately, when I put the bridge back on, this one came off because it was slightly too far down, so I just need to put that back on again at the right angle. And then we've got the 3 bits of photo etch that go on here. All of the details were sanded off. The actual plastic moulded on pieces that were on there were, I would say, a good 3 or 4 times as thick as those photo etch pieces. So they definitely needed to go. I've got some putty in those bits because there's some other areas that I've got to fill in where photo etch goes. The kit parts are quite thick, so they would fit into those holes quite happily, but with the photo etch it won't. So I've basically put some putty in those, just waiting for that to dry before we sand that down, and then I can get those 2 bits done. But that is not looking too bad. These I think these are the torpedoes on the ship. I think these are 4 of them. And these were a pain in the bum to do, to be fair. Yeah, these parts you had to kind of bend the photo etch, but the part still didn't want to fit, so you then had to clamp it in and then super glue it at the same time, and hope to God that you don't super glue your hands together, which did actually happen. But never mind, these things happen. And then we've got another little ladder set of ladders on these two, and I've cut a hole out in the platform there, so the little sailors would have enough of a gap to get through there. And then I just need to find a little railing, photo etch railing, to put across there. You don't get one that's supplied in the kit, unfortunately, but we get that done. We've also got the photo etch ladder in there, which is good. And then on this one, not only do we have the photo etch ladder on that side, but we've also got a photo etch ladder on this side, and this bit actually will lead into the boat bay, which is on that side. I've still got the photo etch to put down there, but that won't go down until such time that I'm ready to sort of paint all of the light grey bits on the outside of the hull. It's just going to be easier, to be honest, not to do that until such time it's done. What I'm going to do, actually, I think, is sorry, excuse me, I'm going to see if I can actually tape off the boat bay, or the floor at least, because when this gets painted, obviously I don't want that floor to be painted the lighter grey. And I've cut a hole out, sorry, not cut, drilled a little hole down there, because looking online, there's rope that kind of goes from just aft of the depot, or the ladders. I can't say the word, but there's a little bit of rope that goes from there, and then it actually fits into the boat bay as well, and I do believe that's there for safety. So I will get some. I think I've got some cotton thread somewhere about. I might need to actually dip it in some grey paint, but nonetheless, I've got some somewhere, so I can put that there, and that'll be really one of the last things I do, because I'm just going to need to sort of put it in there, put a little dab of glue in there just to hold it, and then a little dab of glue at that end to hold that. So that'll be pretty much, well, the last thing that happens before the cradle arm is put on for the ribbed inflatable. But yeah, that's not looking too bad, to be fair. So we've made some level of progress on this kit. As I say, it's just this particular part of building, you tend to slow down because of all the photo etch. But you know, it's still worth doing. I love the detail that photo etch actually brings out on a kit. It kind of helps to make it look more realistic in a way, rather than a toy, which unfortunately some of the plastic bits do. One of the other things that I have done as well is looking online at the HMS Darren. There are two prongs or something. There's two bits of metal that stick out on either side, so they kind of go at funny angles that way and that way. So I've drilled the holes. What I'm going to do is, they're 5mm holes. I've got a length of 0.5mm brass rod coming in the post to me, because I'm going to need that for some of the aerials down here, because the kit parts are way too thick. So I'll be using that down there for those, and then I'm just going to cut off 4 lengths just to put in there as well. And I'll most probably end up replacing these details as well. I will double check to see if these are the same diameter as the brass rod that's coming in, and if it is, then I'll leave them on there, because then if they're the same diameter, there's absolutely no point in replacing those. But if they are slightly bigger, then yes, I will replace them. So that's those bits done. The other thing, actually, my lovely wifey came up with a very good idea, because my hands aren't exactly the steadiest when it comes to photo etch, unfortunately, and I do end up dropping parts on the floor, and then getting down on my hands and knees with a torch trying to find the piece of photo etch that fell on the floor. And inevitably, as we always know, some of them the carpet monster gets on a permanent basis and we can never find them. So what my wifey suggested is getting a white sheet and then putting that down on the floor and literally taping it to the floor with a little bit of carpet tape so it doesn't move. Then that way, if you do drop a part on the floor, it's going to land on the white sheet. So therefore, you're going to be able to see the unpainted brass photo etch. It's going to stand out like a sore thumb on a white sheet. So I think that's a blooming good idea that she's actually had. So that's what we're going to do. It's just going to buy a little cheap one. There's no point in going out and buying the finest Egyptian cotton sheet just for putting on the floor when you're doing photo etching. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing, and hopefully that'll work and stop me from losing model parts. But we'll soon see. But that's going to be about it for now, guys. I will come back to you once I've got a little bit more photo etch work done to this wee beastie of mine. We've come across a bit of a snafu with this model kit. I haven't used that word for ages, snafu. God, you've got to love the English language and all the words that it comes with. I suppose it's the same with any other language, really, I guess. But yeah, we've noticed there's an issue with putting this kit on a seascape. And if I remember, I will put up a photo so you've got a point of reference as to what I'm talking about. But just here, we've got an anchor that goes in. And then just under that anchor is the start of the bootstrap line. I think that's what it's called. I can't remember. The big black line that goes underneath. I think it's the bootstrap line or something like that anyway. And it's quite thick, and even when the ship is at speed, you can actually still see that. So there's no way that we can put the bootstrap line underneath there. So if I was just to put that even on the thinnest of seascapes, because you can't see that bootstrap line, the kit is either going to look as though it's sinking at an even rate, which would be unheard of, I think, or it's going to make it look as though the ship is absolutely grossly overloaded, which again is going to make the kit look quite stupid. So I am going to have to use the bottom of the hull for that, which does present a few problems. But there you can see we've got, for the bulbous part of the bow, you can see the join line there, and the plimsoll line does kind of come down there a little bit. I would say on this kit, because it's a 1/350 scale, I would say that we would need it to be at least 2, maybe 3 mil. I have to see. So that's why we now need to put this part of the kit on, and I'm glad that I found that out before I actually had all of this kit together, because this particular part of the kit is a pain in the backside to install, and you're basically having to manhandle the whole thing to get that in position. And you never could do that if you had all of the superstructures on the ship at the same time, because you'd end up breaking every single one of them and smashing up the photo etch. So I'm glad that I found this out before we got to that stage, which kind of just goes to show you that, you know, research, and just when you think you've done enough research, do some more bloody research. But yeah, so because we've got lights in the bridge and we've got lights in the hangar bay, the wire is going to come down through there. Now, if I had this hull on the kit, I wouldn't be able to get the lights, get the wires to snake through whilst that was on, if it was still all in one piece. So what I've had to do to resolve that issue is cut 2 little holes out. I will be cutting a middle section out there as well, so I can basically have the wires going through in the same part of the base, because what I don't want to do is drill a hole there and then drill a hole there through the base to have the lights coming through those holes. Rather them all meet up in one place and then go through. So because we've had to make holes in the kit, that in itself presents a problem, because I'll be using the water pour, the clear water system from Woodland Scenics. Resin will actually build up in these areas, and you also run the risk, because this ship is actually going to be fairly light when it's in there. Resin is got a fairly thick consistency to it, to be fair. The chances are that this kit's actually just going to start floating and then keel over, and then before you know it, your whole ship's covered in resin, and then it's going to look like a shipwreck. Which in itself, I suppose, won't be too bad a display, really. But that's not what we're going for. So what I'm going to have to do to negate either the ship raising in the water, in the resin, or resin getting in here, because the Water Scenics, the Woodland Scenics water system is actually quite expensive. But it's my preferred method for doing ships. I mean, I did the Valiant and also the Astute class submarine. Now the Valiant, I did that was a cardboard base, and it was painted with craft paints and then clear mastic put over the top of that to create the sea. And although it looked good, it doesn't really look that good when you're looking up close to it, whereas the Woodland Scenics water system that I did for the Astute submarine, that looks absolutely great. I love the effect that you get from that. So I will be using that for my ship builds from here on out. But I don't really want to waste it willy-nilly filling up holes that don't need to be filled up. So what I'm going to do is I have this water effect system as well. I've got this water effects from Woodland Scenics. This can be used for all sorts of things, such as the flow from waterfalls, etc. You can do quite a lot of stuff with that, icicles as well, and all sorts of bits. But what I'm going to do with that is, when the kit's ready to go on the base, I'm going to kind of make a really thick bead around the whole of that section there, so you've got that kind of really weirdly shaped H effect going on, and then press it down into the base. And what that will do is it will give me two things. Firstly, it will anchor the ship to the base once it's dried properly, which really only takes about a day on if it's thick. But B, it will actually make this section completely resin tight as well, so no resin can leak into that. And then we've just got 8 holes, I think it is, 8 holes down here that we need to fill in. And I just put some stock styrene from the inside. I won't bother filling the holes in from the outside, there's just no point, because you're not going to see those parts. So that's what I'm going to do with that. At the same time, the rear bulkhead or rear hull section of the ship, because you can do this in two variants. You've got the waterline part, and then you've got the full hull configuration for the rear section. Now, because I've gone for the waterline, that's the part I've used. Now I can't get that off because I was having a hell of a problem getting that to stay on, because nothing wanted to marry up properly. So I had to use quite a bit of glue on the inside to make sure that this thing never fell off again or come apart. So that isn't coming off for love nor money. So what I'm going to do is the other part, the other optional part, because it's got a little lip that comes out. I can only presume that is to help stop the spray coming up from the propellers. I don't know whether that's true, but you know, I think that's what it's for. I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut that little bit out and then glue that in, and that should then keep the back end watertight as well. So that's how we're doing that. It's not going to take too long really, as I say, because I've got nothing on this at the moment. It's just going to be easy to do that. The other thing that we've done is with this particular part of the superstructure is we've got all of the resin, not resin, so we've got all of the photo etch parts in there now. And that was a pain in the bum to do, but also good at the same time. And then at the back we've got the 2 ladders on, but then we've also added a part of a photo etch barrier that I had just laying around because, well, health and safety in the workplace. So we got that. That's actually ready to be painted, and most of that is going to be painted in black. But first of all, it needs some Tamiya primer on there first to help with the photo etch. The bridge section is almost done. It's all painted on the inside. We've just got some figures that we need to put on the inside to help with that, and I've also got the 2 green SMDs in there that I'm going to use. Now I've actually glued those onto the forward bulkhead of the bridge, so the light actually shines directly at the consoles. Sorry, excuse me. And that way hopefully it should give it a better kind of instrument panel glow. I originally was thinking of having them on the ceiling, but you could actually see them, so it didn't really look that good, to be fair. So yeah, hopefully, because you can't really see into the bridge a great deal, and because they're fairly well hidden, hopefully you shouldn't really be able to see them, plus the fact they're going to be quite dim anyway. So the only thing I got left to do with this now really is just put the little figures in there and get the roof glued on, and then put some masking tape on the windows, and then that can be painted up. So that's kind of almost ready to go. The other thing that we've done as well, if I can find my tweezers, I did have a pair of tweezers here somewhere. Ah, there they are. Gotcha. We've got, if I can pick it up, because I haven't got me the other glasses on for doing this, and it, trust me, put that upside down. Cool. Good lord. Right, there we go. I got it now. So we've got the bit of photo etch all bent up and put into shape, and that is basically a platform that glues to the rear bulkhead for the ribbed inflatable bay. That took a little bit of time to do because it's so small and it's so fiddly, trying to get all of that bent up. But yeah, that's done. And then we've also done the other bulkhead as well for the back of the radar dome thing. And again, we got the ladders in there, and I've also put a little bit of barrier on there as well because of health and safety in the workplace. I think they should be there anyway, I believe, because it does stop accidents. But yeah, that's going to be about it for this update, I think, guys. I'm kind of conscious of these sort of going on too long. Oh, too late, everybody says. Every time I try to do a video and make it a decent length, I fail miserably. And I am aware of the fact that multiple, all of my subscribers are subscribed to multiple channels, which means that they're watching multiple videos whilst at the same time trying to do their work and also put their videos out at the same time. So it becomes a bit of a pain in the backside if like somebody like me comes out with a 2-hour-long bloody video. So I'd rather not do that if I can. So I am working on trying to get them shorter. Maybe rather than doing a once a week update, I just split it down into sort of maybe 5-10 minute segments and release 2 or 3 videos a week. I don't know, we'll just have to see. But there we go. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys, before I ramble on too much again. Oh, too late, everybody says. So anyway, I will catch you in part 4, I think it is. So until then, thanks for watching, and as always, please do take care.